Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to do my initial review of a brand new pistol from Taurus, and this is the Taurus G3X. So let's take a look at this and let me know down in the comments what all of you think. So we're going to open this up and go through it together like I normally do, and I'll tell you guys what I think about it. So right away, let's take a look at this pistol. This is a striker fired 9mm. And basically, to sum it up pretty quickly, just imagine this. Imagine the Taurus G3 9mm and the Taurus G3C. You know, took a liking to each other, hung out for a little bit, ended up getting married, had a good time, and about 9 months later, this guy popped out. And that's essentially what the G3X is, but we're going to have one more twist, and then I'll go through my review. You're going to notice this has no manual safety here on the frame. Now, some of you guys are like, yes, this is totally awesome. Some people are like, man, I really love the manual safety. Well, there's still going to be the G3 and the G3C for you if that's something that you insist upon having. So let's go through this brand new G3X together. All right, so like I said, it's a 9mm striker fired. And what we're going to see right away is the frame portion of the gun here in the grip is going to be Taurus's full size, fitting flush with a 15 round magazine. And it does come with 2 mags. So 2 15 round mags right there are going to be included. Now the top. This is where the G3C comes into play. It's going to feature the shorter slide, the shorter frame from front to back, as well as the 3.2 inch barrel. So 15 rounds, flush fit mag, 3.2 inch barrel. And yeah, I think it's kind of a cool concept. Now, obviously the goal with this is basically to make it a little easier to conceal and carry. And this portion here, from front to back, with this being about 6.3 inches long, it's about 1.2 inches wide, and about 5.2 inches of overall height. So we're shorter here. Again, makes it a little easier to conceal, but you still have that full grip frame where you can get your full hand and pinky on there for a more positive grip. And of course, the increased round capacity over the G3C, which would have 12 flush. This does feature the 15. So what are you guys thinking so far? I think it's pretty cool. Now, a lot of you guys are familiar with the G3C, the G3, and I've done tons of videos on these if you're new to the channel or if you're just new to these types of firearms. So check my Taurus playlist. I'll leave that in the pinned comment for you to help you out. Tons of info on this firearm's predecessors. So I'm going to go through the gun for those of you that aren't real familiar. So what do we have here? Well, like I said, striker fired 9mm. This one does not have a manual frame-mounted safety, which the previous versions did. However, it still has 3 safeties, actually. It has an internal, built into the slide, firing pin blocker. That's basically your drop safety, so we have that. We also have a trigger blade safety, which we'll go over the trigger in just a little bit. And then we have a port in the top of the chamber hood of the barrel there, and that's going to be your loaded chamber indicator. So still 3 safeties on this firearm, with the number 1 safety obviously being right here and following all the rules of gun safety, right? So we have a steel slide that's compact length with rear cocking serrations here, which I find to be awesome. Fingers do not feel like they want to slip. Nothing overly aggressive that's going to cut your fingertips. So very well done there. As well as a couple little serrations up front for those of you that like to take a peek and do a press check just to make sure before holstering or, you know, handling the firearm. So plus right there. Now, the grip frame. This has the texture a lot of you have become familiar with on these Taurus G series pistols, and it's one that I really like. Nice and aggressive, where your hands don't feel like they want to slip, especially if they're just a little bit wet, but nothing too crazy. It doesn't tear the skin off my hands or anything like that. Another thing I really like about the shape and design of this, there's no grip texturing up here, which is awesome. It doesn't rub the web of my hand raw when I'm shooting. Also here, we have a nice swale and indentation where your finger can sit there at the ready position, as well as over on the left. It gives a perfect place for my thumb. And just like these other Taurus pistols that I love, This thing just fits my hand literally like a glove. The grip frame is just perfect for my hand, and I've heard just so many people in comments sharing their experience with these types of firearms saying, yeah, it fits your hand awesome. So if you've never held one of these yet, I definitely try it out. Awesome. It has kind of a tapered grip here on the top, and it just molds in perfectly. I really don't know what else to say. Nice beaver tail to keep you from getting any slide bite, but I can still get a very high grip on the firearm in order to have faster follow-up shots, more accurate, and tame down the recoil some. Moving up here to the frame, we can see there's a nice little indexing point right here. Taurus will call this their memory pad, and it is perfect when I'm keeping my finger in the ready position before I were to acquire my target and all the rules of gun safety and decide to take that shot. Perfect place for it there. Also, I shoot with a thumbs forward grip, and I find that the same little indentation here on the left side is the perfect place for me to put that thumb. So, nice. We can see that this does feature a single Picatinny rail slot, so that's nice there for you to add whatever you're looking to later on. Similar type takedown fashion. We can do that in another video, but I'm not going to do it here. The controls, very easy to get to. We have a couple controls. The mag release is here. Let's go ahead and try this. Easy. I don't have to move my hand off the firearm. You guys have pistols like that? It kind of gets on my nerves. Some pistols you have to actually like re-grip to get to it. Not this. I just keep my hand right there in the shooting position how I normally would. Magazine drops free. Very easy, and you can see it actually pops right out of there. So that's awesome. Now we also have our slide catch release. This would be if you don't have the magazine in here. We're empty. We want to lock the slide back. We'll bring it to the rear. Press up with the thumb. That's going to lock our slide. Now I can swipe down, and the slide and barrel are going to go into battery. Very intuitive, very easy to use, so that's awesome. We have a dovetail on the back that's compatible with a company that starts with a G and ends in LOCK, so that's going to be awesome. A lot of you guys are really going to look forward to that. Blacked out here in the rear, and then a white dot in the front. Maybe you guys can kind of see that sight picture right there, so very nice. This is to remind you to read your owner's manual before use, which I definitely suggest doing, just so you can know the specifics of this particular firearm, and especially if you're new to guns or new to Taurus firearms, read that manual. It's going to give you lots of very important information for sure. Alright, let's take a look at the trigger. So this is a single action with restrike, otherwise known as single action, double action. Well, what does that mean? So after we're going to rock the slide here to reset the trigger, we're going to notice we can pull in a single action, less pounds. It's about 6 pounds or so in single action, which I think is great for self-defense. Now, if that round did not go off, we can pull it again. It's a little heavier this time around, but you can go ahead and restrike that primer again to see if you can get the round to detonate. So, one more time. Single action. Very nice trigger, by the way. Wow. Really nice. And I'll go over the trigger a little bit more because I'm really, really impressed, especially for a budget pistol. And then there's the double action restrike right there. Now, one of the safeties is the blade safety, and they've done a really nice job with this. You guys know I love the G2C. Always have, still do. But the blade safety kind of stuck up a little bit proud of the main trigger shoe and made kind of a hump there. This is just not the case. This is the same type trigger shoe you're going to find in the G3, G3C. And you can see it's very wide. There's a couple grooves for traction there. And when we depress it, it's going to go completely flush right there. Completely flush with the shoe. I'm trying not to completely cover it, guys, but very wide, and it doesn't put any hot spots or pressure points on your finger whatsoever. So I think that's awesome. And as long as you're pulling the trigger properly, the safety blade here just kind of goes down like you're not even thinking about it. It does not inhibit pulling the trigger whatsoever. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to bring it up where you guys can see here. Depress the blade. Alright, just a little bit of take up right to here. Effortless take up. And then it breaks. Very crisp. It feels about like what they advertise, about 6 pounds. Trigger broke very cleanly. I want to emphasize that again, guys. Really nice trigger, especially for this type of budget. All right, let's look at the reset. Right there. Very crisp, very short. Come off of that reset for a follow-up shot. Take a look again here. Right there. Awesome. Now, assuming the round didn't detonate, we could let it come all the way back out again. And that's when we have our heavier double action pull. If the slide were to cycle, short, crisp reset. Nice, nice single action. Wow. Oh, yeah. Look, guys, I really like the trigger on the G3 and the G3C. And I also like those firearms too, but I'm pretty darn sure by them eliminating this safety from the factory. Again, this does not come with the manual safety. I think that actually cleaned up the trigger just a little bit more. Not that the triggers were bad on the other two models, but this one's just a little bit better and a little bit more crisp. Because here's the deal. Even when you have a manual safety that's turned off, because a lot of people say, I'll just leave it off, forget about it, because you don't like to use a safety on your striker fire gun. Well, here's a couple cons to that. The first is you could accidentally clip it on, so it could inadvertently get brushed on, so you should still practice swiping it off. And that was kind of a downside for some people, that the previous models had that frame safety. The other problem is this: even though it might be off, there's still extra components that are going to lie within the trigger group area internally that might be adding just a little extra friction, a little extra pull. I'm not going to take it apart in this video, but here's what I am going to do. I'm going to do a bonus video on Locals. So check the pinned comments. Locals is an awesome site where we can do some more things that YouTube wouldn't necessarily want us to do, but I'll get into some things that I think a few of you are going to have questions on over there. So I'll provide that as a follow-up. But, man, yeah, this trigger's clean, guys. Like, noticeably different, in my opinion, than even my full-size G3 and my compact G3C that I've done tons of videos on here and that I really like. So I'm not knocking those triggers, but this one's just that much better. It's just clean. It's just clean and crisp, for lack of a better word, and I'm very happy. Now, how I started off the video, some of you guys really insist upon having this manual safety, and you really want that. I'm not here to talk you guys out of wanting a manual frame safety. There's other models available that do. I was just giving you guys some of the pros of it not being there, and you guys can kind of take that for whatever it's worth. Just wanted to throw it out there because I know there's going to be people on both sides of this equation. Some of you are going to be really happy, though, that this safety's not there. So now the slide is all steel. Like I said earlier, it has a Tenifer finish, Tenifer treatment, which is very nice. We can see right there, G3X, 9x19. Give you guys another look over here. I think this is pretty cool. So yeah, again, let me know what you guys think. I mean, literally, it's just like you kind of took the two and averaged them together between the full-size G3 and the compact G3C. I certainly think it's comfortable having that 15-round grip. I can see where it'd definitely be more portable, easier to stow away, easier to conceal in different ways when you're carrying it with this shorter slide, shorter barrel. And as far as compatibility goes with this and other models, like I said, check the pinned comment. I'm going to go over that just a little bit more. I like it. I really do. I think this is an awesome new offering from Taurus. And, you know, Taurus has proven designs, which a lot of us have really grown to love over the last 2 years. This has a lifetime warranty, just like the other ones. So you'll see the paperwork for that, reminding you to register that as soon as you get the firearm. This is going to be plus P rated, and you can read what Taurus has to say about that as well down in the manual. But what I like about Taurus is they don't just sit still. They don't just say, hey, look, we already have this G2C that's selling like hotcakes, and it was, and it still is. They came out with the G3C, which just kind of innovated a little bit more with the trigger being a little bit better, in my opinion, you know, things like that. Different slide finishes, stuff like that. That's pretty cool. And then they could have the full-size G3 that a lot of us really like. Instead of just sitting there saying, well, we have what they call their full-size, which would have a 15-round grip frame and the longer slide and 4-inch barrel, or we have our compact. Take your choice, which is cool. You know, I like both, and I bought both, and a lot of you did too. Now you don't have to choose between those two. You can just have one that sits right there in the middle. And for all the people that love a frame-mounted safety on their striker-fired pistol, you can still get those models. But for those people, and I have friends that have literally told me, they said the day that Taurus stops putting a frame-mounted safety on their striker fire was the day that they would give Taurus a chance. So I think that's awesome that they've opened themselves up to that, because it is about a 50-50 split just from reading all the comments that I have over the years. And I just think it's awesome that they're giving people that option where they can have it no safety or with the manual safety. And when I say no safety, I mean no manual frame-mounted safety. There's still the 3 safeties that I discussed earlier that, in my opinion, with somebody that's using safe practices, this pistol is still very safe to carry. But you guys should all be the judge of what you want to carry, because it is a very important and personal decision. Alright, well, I'm obviously going to have to do another video of a side-by-side with this and the G3, this and the G3C, maybe all 3 together. So check back later for more content with this and other Taurus pistols. And right away you can go over to Locals, and I'm going to answer a couple questions and show you guys a few things additional over there. Alright, thanks for watching, and have a good one.